Amin, how you doing, brother?
Alhamdulillah, man. Eid Mubarak.
Hey, Mubarak.
Hi.
It's about nearly a week later
Yeah.
that you wish me Mubarak.
Well, don't see you that often.
Yeah,
Don't
true.
really want to anyway.
Fair,
But,
fair.
Nah, I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, man, how's life been over the last couple days? Anything new? Any nice things going on in your life?
Life's great, man.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Alhamdulillah.
Not gonna let certain teams get me down.
True.
But yeah, first time in the stew now.
Nice.
No more on the lives with Jumuni.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Had to relegate him. Had to relegate
Yeah,
him
had
for
to
a bit.
relegate him. Yeah. You don't say Eid Mubarak, you hear.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's a bit confused, guys. Obviously, if you don't know, Guled, our friend, Chelsea fan, he's a bit slow sometimes, but we don't need him for this one because this is mainly about Arsenal. I just want to quickly start with the Carabao Cup final, brother. What went wrong for Arsenal at the Carabao Cup final, in your opinion?
Damn, man, where do I start? What went wrong? You could say what went right, because I think even though we had a few chances in the first 20, I think from minute one,
Yeah.
I wasn't agreeing with Arteta's tactics. I think the team selection as well, I know there wasn't much other options
To work
that we
with,
had
yeah.
in terms of we didn't have either of the 10s available.
Yeah.
But I'm looking more so like first phase, I think after minute 20, we couldn't get out of our own half.
Yeah.
Till they scored their second goal, then we started to play a little bit, but it was too late by then. So where it went wrong, I think Arteta was too slow with his subs.
Okay.
Because in a final, I've seen a lot of people criticising the performance going a bit over the top. I think in a final, it's defined by moments.
Yeah, of course.
And Arteta only started reacting after City had their moments.
Yeah.
I think 45 minutes in, got to be ruthless. Hook in Campier. Maybe bring on Martinelli for Trossard. If it was up to me, that goalkeeper. Hey,
I was going to ask you about that.
Hook him as well, man.
You obviously said you went into it with a few things you didn't agree with, right? Their lineup. Yeah. So let's start with Kepa. I know there's been this split opinion in terms of does he deserve to play in the final because he played all the games? Is it fair because Trafford's playing? Klopp would always play Kelleher. All these kind of things, right? So do you think Arteta should have just said, you know what, I don't care about that. We need to win. We haven't won a trophy since 2020. I'm playing my best players.
Me personally.
You personally, yeah.
I would have played Raya.
Okay.
I understand that there's this whole culture around it in England where, you got your backup keeper and they play the whole way until the final, and they play the final as well. But 2004, or maybe it was 2002, Arsene Wenger, he didn't play the backup keeper in the final.
Yeah.
There was other times when he played a Fabianski or whatnot, but sometimes you've got to be ruthless. And you look at the difference in that. Some people say, oh, well, it's even playing field because City played Trafford.
Yeah.
Trafford was brought in as a number one.
As a number one,
So
yeah.
I'm not even going to hear that kind of
For sure.
angle. For me, I would have played Raya because the gap between the two is too major.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
We haven't been to a final in 6 years it was?
Yeah,
First final in 6 years.
It's been a long time.
So it's how bad do you want it? Are you here to make, friends, make all the family happy, the players, this and that? Or are you here to win,
Yeah.
Because if you ask Kepa now, would you have rather started, made that mistake and we lost the final?
Yeah.
Or you held bench and we won the final?
Of course, yeah.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing, of course.
Always, yeah. Do you think... So, for me, the reason why I laugh is because his track record in Carabao Cup finals is...
Nasty.
It's spooky because obviously we've seen it for Chelsea.
Well, every single... It's you know what it is? You can be oh, but Chelsea weren't that good in finals. The brother has a catalogue of errors or moments in each one as well.
I mean, you've got the famous one where he was refusing to come off. Sarri was the manager, right?
Sarri was the manager,
He refused to come off.
I think.
There was the other one where the penalty shootout where he didn't save a single penalty and then he missed the deciding penalty. And now for Arsenal, of course, I wouldn't say his overall performance was horrible, but the mistake for the first goal ultimately, paved the way for them to win the game.
What I will say, that 15-minute spell when we came out at half-time, a goal looked like it was coming.
100%. We were getting killed.
But sometimes in games you go through that. City in those first 20 went through a similar thing where we were just going wave after wave of attacks. You could say, oh, the goal was coming, they were good for a goal. But at the end of the day, it came from a mistake.
100%.
And before that, do you remember Kepa making a save?
No.
I don't think so. So
City had 0.00 XG in the first half.
Well, there you go. So you're looking at it, you're thinking, you know what, we're in a bad spell right now.
Yeah.
Survive it. And then we'll go again after, maybe make some subs, 60th minute, whatever, and we'll see. When you make that mistake, it's game over.
It's
Like,
game
heads
over.
drop.
But do you think it's like it's a reoccurring theme for Arsenal because we concede pretty much no XG in most games all season, and then we've seen it with Raya where he'd concede a shot he should have saved.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Wolves mistake at the end or the Sunderland Brobby goal or little things like that where it's like we don't. I find it hard to criticize our goalkeepers just because one, they're inactive for most of the game in terms of saving shots. Two, we don't face enough. But I do understand that in terms of on the ball, maybe Raya would have taken more risks, 100%. I was of the opinion that I wanted Raya to start. However, I understood and I knew that Kepa would start from a long time. Even though maybe I wouldn't have agreed, you know, I don't think he was particularly good in the semi-final as well. I mean, the goals you can see against Garnacho were a bit weak, in my opinion. So I wasn't happy with it, but that wasn't, like, for me, the reason why we lost. It wasn't for me. I think the first thing I want to talk about is just Man City, bro. Forget Arsenal. The way Man City just allowed our goalkeeper and our centre-backs to have the ball. Most teams don't do that. And maybe that's like, did Man City give the blueprint to everyone on how to beat Arsenal? Because effectively what they did is they had that four-man block of, it was Cherki, Haaland, and both of their wingers, just literally standing in front of our two pivots, in front of Shuceebbusiness and Rice, and blocking off all the lanes for them to receive the ball. And then our fullbacks were kind of high-ish and wide. And then if you wanted to give it to them out wide, boom, the fullbacks were on them. Yeah. If you were going to ping it up top, Kusanov was all over Gyökeres. Or if Havertz, because Havertz early on was winning a few of his headers, flicking it on, but there was nothing else going on. Both our wingers were getting bullied and man-marked out of it. I think City's game plan was just unbelievable. Yeah. I think have to give them credit. I think it was, for me, it was a normal-ish Arsenal performance from what I've seen this season, but it was a really good Man City performance from the way I look at it, in terms of the way they suffocated us in the second half, the way they just said, you know what, you can have the ball, you do what you want, but you're not going anywhere. If you try to hit us on a break, Kusanov's just breaking Gyökeres' legs. Yeah. When Saka gets the ball, Nico Riley and whatnot on him. Was on him. Rodri was unbelievable. Just every time he got the ball, winning back the ball every 2 seconds, boom, just playing the ball forward and whatnot. I think Semenyo, again with the Hincapié thing, he knew that Hincapié was on his yellow card, and he was like, I'm just having fun now.
Yeah, he punished him.
He punished him for it, I think I saw a stat. I don't quote me on this, but I think they had about like 13 crosses or whatnot, or something like that, and 11 of them came from that side. Yeah,
but that's where I'm looking at the manager, because Pep showed his class in that game. Yeah, he looked at the way that we build up with the centre backs. Yeah. You know, Shuceebbusiness and Rice, they're not given too much responsibility in our team progressively. It's true. Even though they come to pick up deep, it doesn't mean they're, you know, given the line breakers throughout the games. And Pep looked at that and he said, you know what, we're not gonna really press the defenders because that's what Arsenal want. We're just gonna close off the passing lanes. And
it was smart.
It's smart, but then I'm looking at the manager and I'm thinking, it's a final. It's a one-off game. Yeah. You need to be able to suss that out quicker. Yeah, because 100%. It's not like a league game where you can be like, okay, we didn't get too much joy. We get bailed out from a set piece or something like that. And it's like, you go again, you work on it in training and how to get out of it. In a final, it's like, you need to be reactive. Yeah. Proactive. Sorry, not reactive. We were reactive as a team. I'm looking at the manager thinking, can you be proactive?
To be fair, you can be reactive in the same point as well, because you're reacting to what's going on over there.
And look, he was unlucky because the subs that he was going to make Calafiori, which I do think changed that, were ready to come on just before they scored the second. Yeah. You think maybe you bring them on at 1-0. Yeah. Maybe got a better chance. But I would have been looking at it at half time. And Campbell's on a yellow card.
And a yellow card, yeah.
It's not the kind of game where it's like, oh, you don't want to, you know, hurt his confidence by taking him off for half time.
And he's been good for him. He's been good for him in 2026.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think Hincapié is going to take it poorly to get subbed off.
No.
And he ended up coming off anyway. And once Calafiori did come on, you saw how much easier it was for us. Okay, it's 2-0 by this point, but City was still set up with that 4 pressing us. Yeah. Calafiori was just, you know, showing his class.
He was inverting a lot more as well.
He was taking on one of those players that were
bringing him out,
press him, and he's dribbling them instead. He's like, you know what? Because our centre backs were holding the ball, giving it back to Kepa. What was it? Kepa stood on the ball for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
I saw a stat. I think Kepa had more passes than Shuceebbusiness in our game, bro.
Dark. And that's meant to be the guy we brought in to dictate the tempo.
I mean, even look at this stat. Shuceebbusiness had 23 complete passes.
It's terrible. Yeah, if you compare that to Rodri, it's probably crazy.
Night and day. Just the way they set up was unbelievable, bro. And I think the one of the quotes that like summed it up for me was when Nico Riley said, Pep said to him before the game, Shuceebbusiness will man mark you so tight, you're stronger than him, you're bigger than him, go and win those headers.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it cost us for the first goal.
I don't like how easy it is to sort of pinpoint weaknesses in our team, and then our managers not, because I would have said, listen, a lot of people have sort of forgotten about this guy this season, but Skelly,
Yeah,
that's kind of what we needed. That guy that can take it under pressure,
100%.
under the challenge of other
yeah,
players.
he
on the
just
turn,
roll them
everything.
easily. He's a unit.
And then all of a sudden, when you got 4 people pressing you,
Yeah.
and you've managed to beat that first line,
yeah,
you got the whole pitch in
games
front of
open
you.
up.
The game's
We saw
open.
it against Real Madrid where you just get the ball turned, run for the whole
Exactly.
midfield.
And look, I do think when you're saying, have we given other teams the blueprint? It'll be different with Ryan in that, because with
maybe.
Ryan goal, he's able to just look at that and say, you know what, Ben White, because Ben White was drifting off into those like kind of space on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Would have just lofted it over the top of them, and I think that might be the reason why a lot of teams haven't tried that against us.
For sure, maybe. But I also think like it's just it's a overlaying issue with our midfield pivot, because from the turn of the year, I think for most of this calendar year, we haven't progressed much through the middle.
No.
And that says a lot in terms of I don't expect a lot of that through Declan Rice. I know that's not his strengths.
No.
That's why a lot of the time when we had Partey and whatnot, right, or Jorginho, he would go further forward and look to win the second balls in the air.
Yeah.
But when it comes to receiving the ball, your 6 has to be very comfortable to do it. And again, I love Shuceebbusiness, man. I think he's an unbelievable player. I think for me, a lot of this downturning form is down to how many minutes he's playing. I think he's played the most minutes out of any of our players.
Yeah, highest running numbers.
Highest running numbers in the Premier League. So it's like obviously he's fatigued, but at the end of the day, like if especially as a Basque Spanish centre mid, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I still don't think he's that kind of player though, even at full
But you'd expect it.
Yeah,
you'd expect it.
It's
right?
like some people expected that from Marino when we signed him.
Yeah,
it's just not just because they're Spanish that they're those kind of.
But the
players
difference is like Shuceebbusiness was actually a 6 though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like Shuceebbusiness was always
true.
like that 8 running up and down. So I'd expect him to be more comfortable on the turn and whatnot. And I mean,
he might need time to get
100%. But obviously, like little things are starting to show you now in terms of like error leading to goal against Man United.
Yeah, no.
Error leading to goal against Spurs.
We've lacked.
I think there was one against Chelsea and whatnot. So like, there's a few of those in the big games where it has been a bit spooky.
And the big games was never really Arsenal's problem in seasons gone by.
No,
you know what I mean?
this season just completely collapsed.
And I don't think it's a coincidence. You know, we've lost 2 of our previous 6ers who had experience playing in all of those games.
Yeah.
And you know what, I'll be real, I used to go into those games against the so-called, top 6 teams confident.
100%.
Like, you know what, if we don't win, I can guarantee that we're not going to lose. We lost the one in what,
2.5 years, 3 years? Yeah.
This season, drop points at Anfield, drop points at Emirates against Liverpool,
lost against United at Emirates.
lost against United, drop points to City.
Yeah, drew
lost to them in the final.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't just ignore, patterns.
Of course.
And I'd hope going into the next season, it's something that Zubimendi and the manager can maybe work on. Otherwise, listen, I wouldn't go as far as say maybe we have to upgrade in that position.
I think we definitely have to bolster our midfield. I think for me going into the summer, midfield is our key area for me to bolster. You've got, I think we need to get maybe one more defensive man midfielder, a left winger, things like that. But I do think Zubimendi and Rice need some help. At the end of the day, I'm a big believer in Miles Lewis-Skelly is the Declan Rice backup. But one of my friends had a theory that we weren't, again, I don't want to say his name too much, but number 5, we didn't expect what happened to kind of come out and become a thing.
Offered him a new contract.
Offered him a new contract, yeah. So I think they wanted to keep him as a backup.
It was definitely an Arteta's plan.
So we kind of like scrambled and then got Norgard, right? Yeah. And you can tell we clearly doesn't trust Norgard, but when we've seen Norgard play, he's very good at those passes.
Yeah,
he's very good at moving the ball forward. So it was a bit of a weird window-ish for me because again, like Eze's been good recently. He's been good, and
his form's definitely
good. And I really want to talk about him now because do you think he was a big miss in this game?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think when you're lacking your so-called moments players, it's always going to be tough in the final. That's the one game. If you had told me miss Eze for the Champions League tie, the game against Everton,
Southampton, and what coming up,
but the one game when I said please be fit for
Wembley, man,
would have been Wembley.
Yeah,
we already seen what he done at Palace.
Yeah,
against City.
In the Community Shield as well against Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? In that game, I don't know because you was at the ground, of course, but when I was watching it, Havertz, for me, I see him as a very technical kind of footballer. He's got sometimes a bit of a donkey, but he wasn't really trapping the ball well in the middle or taking it under pressure well. I don't know because against Leverkusen, there was a few risky kind of balls that we played into Eze. He was taking it on the half turn and run at their defense, and it's like 3-on-3.
Yeah,
I saw Kai try to do the same thing, but Kusanov just clamping him.
I think the thing with Kai, it's a weird one because Kai, in terms of like winning the ball in the air, trapping it down, all those kind of things, he's always good at it. Yeah, he's always good at that. But I think in terms of like running with the ball, it's so slow. Yeah, it's so slow, and that's one thing I did notice. but also like there was no really like synergy or connection between him and Gyökeres because anytime Havertz will try and make the pass, it'll either be off or he'd make it to Gyökeres, but Gyökeres is just getting bullied by Kusanov, bro.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just props to Kusanov because obviously we looked at it and we said, no Ruben Diaz.
I saw people celebrating that, and I was
Do you know
like,
what
bro,
I'm saying?
I would much rather Gyökeres up against Diaz
But
than Kusanov.
Kusanov is just unbelievable. Like you can tell now he's finally finding his feet. He's understanding obviously the system more. He's becoming more of a man. You know, when he first came in, it was like that little baby face.
Yeah.
And he made that mistake against Chelsea and whatnot. Now you can tell he's become more of a man. He's getting his crunching tackles and whatnot. And I think he did very well like locking down Gyökeres. But
I think we need to speak on O'Reilly as well for City.
Yeah.
Not just the goals, but
I think, listen, O'Reilly is... It's so funny because I didn't think he started left back because I don't think he played left back much in 2026.
he's been playing midfield recently.
Yeah, in this calendar year. So for Pep to adapt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Another thing we've asked for sometimes Arsenal, for him to adapt and put him back into left back, but still use him as that back post runner. And I heard someone say, I was watching a podcast, I can't remember who said it. They were like, what Pep did was so well is we want to avoid. They want to avoid like crosses to Gabriel's side, right? So that's why they'll go down the right side a lot.
Yeah.
Because when they'll cross it and it'll go back post, Gabriel's out of the picture now.
Yeah, it's either Saliba or Benoit,
Yeah, and then what Nico O'Reilly is so good at, because he's tall, because he's a box crashing midfielder effectively, he loves to arrive late and be in that pocket all the time, and that's where he scored a lot of his goals for City.
Yeah,
a lot of his goals for City have come arriving late, and he's so good at that, bro. And how old is he now? Just turned 21. I think it's his birthday like last weekend. Yeah, so for him to be doing that at his age, I mean, I think
and it kept Saka guessing as well, because Saka obviously wants to go forward, but he's seeing his left back in the box, so he's having to track him back. Then you got a counter. Where's Saka? He's in your box at the start of the build-up because he's having to track O'Reilly the whole way up the pitch. Listen,
kudos to O'Reilly. I think he's an unbelievable player. I think he definitely deserves to be on that plane for England. He's gonna go. Yeah. Do I think he should start? I still would probably start Lewis Hall at left back. Yeah, but I think he's an unbelievable option to have there, or even like in midfield if you need him. If you want to sub off Rice or Elliot Anderson or whatever, unbelievable option to have. But you touched on Saka. Let's quickly talk about Saka slightly, just a bit, because there's been heavy criticism on him. Obviously, from one person I see a lot is Don CFC from SDS. Yeah. Do you think Saka's been abysmal the way everyone's talking about, or do you think it's just a thing where it's like the GNA have dried up, so it sounds bad? Because for me, do I think it's the same Saka we've been seeing? No. Do I think he's in the same vein of form? No. Do I think he's been horrible? I don't, because all the underlying stats still show he's still one of the best wingers in the league. Yeah. In terms of his progressive carries, in terms of his touches in the box, in terms of his successful take-ons, all these little things, expected assists. I remember at one point I think he was second in the league for expected assists, but he's obviously underachieving because no one's scoring and whatnot. So I think he's come off a hamstring that's come completely off the bone, right? Yeah. And the biggest criticism is he doesn't have that same burst of pace. He can't turn as quick anymore. And I agree, you can tell he doesn't have the same burst of pace. He doesn't have that little in and out, dribble tap thing he did before, because it's a bit slower. But I'm of the opinion that we should give him a bit of grace. I'm giving him a bit of grace, but I just don't I don't like how everyone's kind of like quote unquote written him off when people are not this loud about Cole Palmer.
No,
he's struggling. People are not this loud about.
I think it is with Saka. I think it's a lot of confirmation bias.
Yeah,
people like I've never seen a player who people have really tried to sort of write off. Yeah. In terms of look how difficult it was for him to be established as a elite winger. Yeah. Then it was, is he world class? Then it was, can he do it in the Champions League? Can he do it? People are always trying to find something for Saka. So this is kind of for a lot of people, his first sort of, for his standards, dip in form. Yeah, 100%. Because till then, it's been, for me, just upwards. Yeah. For me, last season, that's the best version of Saka.
Bro, even like he started last season unbelievable. I think he had like 10 assists in the first like 4 months. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Obviously, hamstring came off the bone, out for like 5 months now. Came back, and his first game was Real Madrid. And look what he did there, bro.
Yeah, best attacker on the pitch.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Fresh off the injury there. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't understand this narrative towards Saka 24/7, because even from when he started off, it was like every single winger they'll compare to Saka first. The first person to compare to him, Saka. So
any new youngster,
Saka, him versus Saka, and I'm for me,
is
like
he the benchmark?
Yeah, it's the benchmark. It's 100%. And again, is it down to the hate towards Arsenal? Maybe. Do I think if he played for Chelsea or one of these clubs, he would get this much hate? No, I don't think so. Yeah. But for me, it's just testament to how good he is, because everyone compares their youngster towards him 24/7.
I don't think the final is the game to sort of base his season off
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
In that game, he hardly got any touches. You can't blame him for the defense and the midfield not getting the ball.
100%.
What do you expect him to
100%.
do? Come get the ball from the centre back and run past it? He's not Messi.
100%. And also, I think his games where he struggled are so loud in terms of like everyone points it out. When I think he's probably had, like, in terms of poor games, I think he's probably had about 4 poor games this season. But apart from that, I think he's either been pretty good or standard in terms of for a bad season. So if I'm averaging it out, I think he's been okay.
I mean, Doku's scored, 1 goal in the league this season?
Yeah.
The narratives on him was like, oh, he's finally finding himself at City, this and that. And maybe that's because of his own standards.
Yeah.
And, I'll concede Saka's definitely not been to his highest level.
Of course, 100%.
But that level is still higher than
most wingers in the league.
Most people's favourite players, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
And look, even me, like, Cole Palmer's not been in great form. But I'm never going to dig him out for it because I know the quality that he has.
And a lot of it's down to injuries, bro.
And do you want to look like the idiot that writes his players off?
No.
And then they come back into form and suddenly you're back on the hype train.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? This is called, you have to support your players.
Yeah, no, it's mental. And for me, I always say, like...
It's Arsenal fans as well,
I know, 100% Arsenal fans, but I always say, like, listen, if you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
for him to have haters shows how good he is, because I'll never forget, like, the way the media speak about him in terms of other countries. Like, remember the game against France? Where L'Equipe, the way they were talking about him.
I think the Brazil manager even said like, he's the only England player he'll take.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the masses see it. I just think the Premier League, the eyes are so loud and on Arsenal where it's always just sounds way bigger than us for any other club.
The only thing that's worried me about Saka this season, he never used to have an issue getting off shots or getting off crosses.
Yeah.
This season, I feel like he's not able to create a sort of separation with his man as consistently as before. Before, like, he's like, going to cut in on his left. It doesn't matter. He has the space to whip it back post or fire a shot goal. He would even sometimes go on the outside, going into his right foot.
Yeah.
This season, I feel like defenders, I don't know, maybe they're defending him better, but they're onto him.
I just think he's lost that bit of burst of pace. Yeah. And again, it's natural when your hamstring comes off, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's one of the worst injuries to lose as someone who uses power.
I'm pretty sure for like under 24 players, he's like near the top of minutes played in football history.
Yeah, he's up.
He's
He's
than
up.
like Hazard did.
No, I think Hazard's still first. I think Hazard played an unbelievable.
It's around like,
but it's in and around there. And funny enough, I saw that chart the other day. If Lamine carries on at this rate, he's going to completely break Hazard's record. The minutes playing is disgusting. But quickly, with the rest of the season, obviously now we're out of the Carabao Cup. Actually, no, before I get on to that, what's your thoughts on this whole quadruple thing? Because, again, talking about on SDS with Liban, right? I think the whole narrative that he's running, from the way I see it, is you guys thought you were going to dominate everything. You thought you were going to quadruple, all these kind of things. Now you're not doing that. It's kind of like a disappointment. Do you think, one, the quadruple talks started from Arsenal? Do you think the media built it up to be a thing? Two, do you think it's a disappointment not winning the Carabao Cup, because now, if you just win the league, you're going to... Because I think the point he made was like, if you just win the league, you're going to feel like that Liverpool team where it's like, oh, we could have won more. Because the way I see it...
How I feel like that.
Yeah, the way I see it, I'm like, I'm starving.
Yeah.
All I wanted to win was the league. Everything else is extra.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think in seasons gone by, we've just been bounced out of these cups early.
This
and
is the furthest we've got.
I think that's hurt the team.
Yeah.
This is their first final that this team... Think about how good Arsenal is. This is the first final they've reached together. That's the first taste.
Last year, Newcastle knocked something in the semis, isn't it?
Semis and then PSG semis.
PSG semis.
The first final we've been to. Like, these players need it.
And the first round, was it the first round we were in the FA Cup last year against United?
We got knocked out in the first round FA Cup for like 4 seasons.
Yeah,
or something
it was
stupid
bad.
Like that. But going back to the quadruple, I think it was definitely a media thing, because look, of course you have Arsenal fans online that are going to say, "Oh, we're for the quadruple." But I think any team that's in for all 4 trophies in March, there's going to be those conversations about it. Is there then an expectation? No English team has ever done it.
Yeah.
So to say that there's an expectation or I'll be disappointed, come on now, like what are we doing?
Beggars can't be choosers.
How many, like City and United are the only teams that have won the treble, and that was once for each. Quadruple. This Arsenal team. Listen, I love the team, I love the club, but this is not a quadruple winning side.
100%.
You look at it, it's
100%.
not a quadruple winning side. As good as they are.
For me, it's just testament to even putting yourself in that position, though, because, like you said, we haven't seen finals in so long. I'm so used to getting bounced out of FA Cup early rounds. I'm so used to us not prioritising the Carabao Cup. Obviously, Champions League now, the progression's been good in terms of quarterfinals and then semi-finals and whatnot. So that's going well. But at the end of the day, bro, like, for me, I came into the season with one objective, and that objective was to win the Premier League.
Definitely.
And we're in a good position right now in terms of being 9 points clear with 7 games to go, bro. Yeah. And again, we are still in the hunt for a treble.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I still want to be in this competition.
Do I expect us to win the Champions League and the FA Cup and the Premier League? No, I don't. No. But we're in a good position right now. We've got Southampton in the quarterfinals. We're 1 game away from Wembley again.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? We've got Sporting Lisbon, which could be a tough tie, but if we pass them, we're back in the semi-final.
Another semi-final.
So it's like,
this is what you want your team to be in and around.
100%.
This is a sign of one of the best teams in the world. It's not just competing in the league like we did for the last few seasons. It's really being in the conversations for everything.
Yeah.
Because last season, I don't really think we competed for the league, but we got to Champions League semi-final. The season before, we were competing for the title, till the last day, but quarterfinal exit to Bayern Munich, kicked out of the League Cup by, I can't even remember who, FA Cup first round.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd rather be in this position.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And look, have you seen a Premier League title?
No.
Have I seen a Premier League title?
No.
Disappointment.
I think a lot of people under the age of 30 haven't really, because obviously the last time we won it was 04.
Yeah.
We were 3 years old.
Yeah,
so it's like, and we're 25. So anyone that's about 30, they would have been about 7, 8 years old. Even them would have been pretty early.
Come on.
So it's like
I'm never gonna disappointed. Come on, man. If any Arsenal fan, because I saw a few people online saying, I think it was on another show, and they were saying, it would be like a bottle to only win the Premier League.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Come on, man.
Outrageous, bro.
Come on.
I mean, like I've got a little like sheet up here in terms of all the pundits right before the season in terms of who they expect to win the league. Not one of these pundits had us win the league, bro. It was like I came into the season looking at the Liverpool window saying Liverpool must win the Premier League.
Yeah.
In terms of the money they spent, Liverpool must win the Premier League. However, this is what I said as well. I said Liverpool must win the Premier League, but Arsenal must win the Premier League too. Both of us had to win the Premier League. So for both of us. So
who's that put Chelsea?
Chris Waddle. Chris Waddle, yeah. So it's like we're looking at this graph. I mean, like less than half of them.
Fourth.
Yeah, less than half of them had a second, and then a lot of them had us in third. A few had us in fourth, like Joe Hart and people like that. So it's like the expectation was Arsenal need to win the league, but it was also Liverpool must win.
Yeah.
So now the narrative to like, you were always the favourites and la. Yes, we put ourselves in that position, but
the expectations changed.
The expectations changed. I mean, listen, we came to the season. I'm thinking Liverpool should win the league. They're the strongest team. They just won the league. Then they beat us at their ground. It's like, Liverpool looking good.
Yeah.
Liverpool should win the league now. The first 5 games they were winning every single game and whatnot. Obviously, now you go down the season, they start losing. We're back in pole position. Yes, where we should be. We should be first. But it's like now it's like everything. Like everyone's a bit like wishy-washy sometimes, because 1 second it's like you're not going to win it. 1 second, you're going to bottle it. 1 second, a lot of people... do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's weird.
The narrative changes every week.
Narrative changes too quick, bro.
Yeah.
And if you ask people a couple of months ago in terms of, are Arsenal going to win the Premier League? Everyone was like, no, like, City are sniffing. City are coming. We've had Fuizzi sitting on the table saying that, watch out for City, they're going to come. Liban was saying that.
I think people want City to come. That's what it is.
Bro...
even if they don't believe it, they need it.
Listen, no one wants to see Arsenal win the Premier League.
No,
no one apart from Arsenal fans and maybe Everton. Everton really like us.
Yeah.
They really like us because
they used to be Liverpool, man. I don't know what happened.
The City
between
Arsenal, is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because back in the day, listen, one of my close friends, he was a Liverpool fan, and look, to be fair, we were not good them times, so maybe it was a bit of pity. But we always had a good little relationship with that. If it was Liverpool up against City, I always wanted Liverpool to win.
I told you the story, bro. I probably should have been a Liverpool fan instead of Arsenal. Like my first favorite player was Fernando Torres. Like I used to love Liverpool, but like seeing the way their fans act now, bearing in mind like before Klopp they were nothing. I used to remember them just being that team in like 5th place and whatnot. Obviously the little Suarez era was good, but they were never that dangerous. So it's like for them to do this whole City pool thing, when if I was a Liverpool fan, I would hate City. We had our best ever era and they only let us walk away with 1 title.
But I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans do hate City. It might be a social media thing as well. I don't know.
Potentially,
it might be different if you go to the ground and
maybe, but that's where everyone bases everything off, because all the Arsenal narratives is all these Twitter heads. They're probably like 15 years old, bro. They haven't seen anything. They probably didn't even see the FA Cup in 2014, bro.
And even what you see in the media as well, it's like there is a lot of anti-Arsenal kind of
100%.
agendas pushed.
100 million%.
I think there's 2 clubs that I've seen real like media attacks through the years. It's always Arsenal and Man United.
Man United, it's the 2 biggest clubs in the country.
Like that's just what it is.
Obviously, Liverpool statistically are like in terms of trophies and whatnot, but in terms of like, the biggest rivalry for me was always Arsenal. United, obviously, we didn't see a lot of that, but it's like these are the 2 clubs that are always heritage of Premier League, so of course they're gonna get the biggest hate. Last question I want to ask you, bro, is though, how many trophies do you see Arsenal leaving with at the end of the season? Like genuinely, what do you believe? Because Could we win a few, or is it just one, or is it none?
Listen, man. Arsenal heritage in the Premier League has been Prem and FA Cup. I think 2 out of the 3 times Wenger won it, it was a cup double.
Yeah.
I would love to believe that we're gonna go back to Wembley and win the FA Cup. Champions League, I'm not gonna lie, on a talent level, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
If we were to win it, I would compare it to like when sort of the Chelsea team won it in 2020. Of course, they were a great team, but sort of like no one expected it kind of thing. FA Cup, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say I'm expecting it because I'm not.
Yeah.
But I think we can go and win that FA Cup. I think the teams that are left in it, Arsenal on their day should be able to beat all of them. Of course, you never know what can happen, but you know, we've got a favourable draw. Liverpool got City, so one of those two are going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen. So Chelsea, let's say they go through, they play one of those two. All of a sudden, we could be in a final with another favourable run. So FA Cup, I do think I'm looking at that to collect 2. Otherwise, realistically, I think it'll be just the Prem, because I don't know when the FA Cup fixtures will be sandwiched between, but with Prem on either side, Champions League, because I'm expecting us to reach the semis at least, it's going to be a lot of games for the team. And we've already seen now Eze's gone down. Are we going to have the depth later on in the season to manage sort of all of those games? I don't know. They can be mentally draining as well. I mean, you know, you're going to go to a semi-final in Champions League. You can probably have a must-win game in the Prem. You're going to have
a lot of football still to play, man.
It's a lot. It's a long season.
It's a long season, bro.
These last 2 months, they'll go quick, but damn, it's going to be a lot of football.
Yeah, especially for me this April month, in terms of like, again, the fixture you're talking about in terms of, we've got the quarterfinals against Southampton.
Yeah.
We've got our 2 ties against Sporting. In between that, Bournemouth, who are, I think they're on like a 12-game unbeaten streak.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, there's been a lot of draws, but they haven't lost in a while.
Yeah.
Right after that, you've got Man City. And then if you obviously win the FA Cup tie, I think towards the end of the month, you've got probably the semi-finals.
Yeah.
If you beat Sporting, towards the end of that month, you've got the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Yeah.
There's
likely a Barcelona or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of football to play, and losing Eze in this period is very dark.
Yeah, it's tough.
I do think, before we end it, I do think maybe we should trust Diamond a bit more in this running.
I would have loved to have seen him in the final.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
2-0 down. There's no pressure on the kid.
I agree. I probably wouldn't have subbed on Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
I would probably have subbed him on.
I think, listen, man, you know me, I love Gabby J, but I think we've seen enough of Gabby J.
Yeah, I think the story was nice when he came back from injury, got a few goals. It was nice.
Good, yeah, but it's like, if Dalman really is the future, you got to start trusting him.
100%.
He would have wanted to play in that cup final.
Yeah.
If you asked him, he wouldn't have said, I'm too young.
Yeah.
He would have said, throw me on.
Would have played with no fear result, trying to take out players.
And like, listen, we loaned out Nwaneri, which tells me we trust Dalman.
Yeah.
Play him. Play the kid.
100%.
He's more exciting than, for me, any of the Arsenal attackers. And I love Saka. I love... I don't even hate Gokras. I love Gokras.
Yeah.
But Dalman, man, like, this guy's different. And it makes me think, if we had Lamine Yamal, would Arteta have played him? Would Arteta have been playing him at 16? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Consistently.
I don't think so,
you know what I mean? So, trust the kid. Trust the kid. He'll get us over the line.
I hope so, man. Hopefully we see him against Southampton, which would be a good tie to see him play well against. And then
that's a championship side.
Championship side, yeah.
Good opposition.
Then you play Havertz against Sporting, and then maybe Bournemouth again, Havertz or Dalman. It'll be interesting, but there's still a lot of games to go. Hopefully we get over the line. I do think we'll win the Premier League. Do I think we'll win another trophy alongside that? Probably not.
Oh, you think just the Prem? Then?
Yeah, I think just the Prem. I think we probably get drawn against Man City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and I do think they'll beat us.
Really? You think they'll beat us twice at Wembley?
I think they'll beat us.
That's not Arsenal, man.
I think they'll beat
Arsenal,
us, man.
Listen, even though I didn't grow up on the best version of us, Arsenal at Wembley used to be Lobos. I'm expecting Arsenal to win at Wembley. In the FA Cup as well. Hey, man, I'll be very disappointed if that happens.
I'll be very disappointed, but I think that FA Cup tie, if it's after, this is me banking on us taking points at the Etihad.
I was going to say, so
it'll be after that.
Do you think we'll go to the Etihad and get a result?
I think we'll get a draw.
A draw.
I think we'll get a draw.
That would wrap up the title for me if we got a draw there.
I mean, the way I look at it is, we could potentially lose one game and draw 1 or 2, and potentially still win the league.
I think there's more pressure on them.
They have to win. They have to win every single game. They have to win every single game.
As long as we beat Bournemouth,
yeah.
Because it's only the next game that really matters for now. But yeah, everyone's looking at that Etihad. Even City will tell you they're looking at that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, after the way we played against them in the Carabao Cup, I'm worried. But hopefully Arteta's got answers for that. But
the good news is he can't do that again.
No.
If City set up with that 4-man press again and we can't get through it, I'm gonna say Arteta, Good dude.
Hopefully Odegaard's back by then, because I think I was saying to you earlier, I think Odegaard's the only player at the club who would receive the ball between the lines over there and try and move it forward. I think everyone else was hiding off the ball. I don't want to kill Zubmendi a lot, but I saw a clip where we were trying to progress the ball and it was hiding behind players, and I was like, what are you doing, bro? Obviously Declan Rice will do that a bit as well, but
I wonder if his mistake against United might have I don't know.
Maybe, but I do think Saliba set him up there as well a bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, the guy is obviously not used to like the intensity of the Premier League
for sure.
teams, and then
To be playing this many minutes,
he's probably thinking, "Damn, like it's a final. I can't make that mistake again." I don't know. I'd hope not, because he's won trophies. He's won with Spain, so you'd hope he doesn't have that kind of mentality.
100%.
We'll see, man.
We'll see, man. Anyway, hopefully we leave with something. It's been a good chat. Let us know in the comments, guys, what you thought. Show some love to Amin again. Leave his. What do you want to leave in the comments? Your TikTok or your Instagram, your Twitter?
I don't really post content at the moment, but you know what? I'll put my TikTok.
Are you gonna start making content on your TikTok at least?
We'll see. Arsenal win the Premier League. I'll start making content.
Inshallah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.